Alright, welcome to the channel. What I'm hoping to bring y'all along on the shenanigans of the high-tech redneck. So today we're working on a 250 gallon smoker, so I will give you an overview of it real quick. Alright, so here is what I've got done so far. A client had brought me the trailer with that smoker and that warming box on it and the firebox, and I've taken that off. And I've mounted this propane tank I had. I mounted the stacks, and we're reusing the firebox. So inside the chamber, I've already put a guillotine in. The racks are in. I've cut the stacks back. Oh. So today I want to make the shelves and the rack stops. So let's do it. So it's set up. I'm gonna make the first 45-degree cut, and then I need to measure the smoker and where the racks are, and then we can get going. So I got both of the racks cut out, so I'm getting ready to tack them up using these cheap Harbor Freight 45-degree angle clamps. I'll get these two tacked up, then I'll move the clamps and tack up the other two. Alright, it's all tacked up. Now I'm going to just check square by going corner to corner. 40 and 5/16. 40 and 5/16. So it's all square. So now I need to put it in the smoker and see if it'll fit, make sure it'll fit. So here it is. That's the first one. Now I just need to do the second one and move on to the top trace. All right, so the trays are basically done with the framing of them. So unfortunately, move this out. So I made the tray too short. It was either cut it out and redo it or add a piece on. So for what I need to do, it was better for me just to add a piece on. So you'll see that in just a second. To make the handles for the trays, it's a little bit different. I haven't seen it anywhere else, but this is a 9/16 rod. So on this Harbor Freight bender, I got the 9/16 rod loaded in pretty level. I found you want to try to keep this rod as level as you can, and then you just got to to pull it. And it makes a bend like this. Alright, so I got the two rods bent on the bender, and I made this jig up because on my smoker I made 4 handles. So the client on this smoker wanted the same type of handles. So I'm gonna mark it on my where my jig has it. I'm gonna mark this one while I'm at it. I got them both marked. Now I need to cut them. With the way this stuff is, the way it's bent, it really won't go into the bandsaw. So I'm going to take my 4.5 inch grinder with the cutoff wheel. C-clamp it down. And cut. So I got it in the held by the C-clamp. I'm gonna go ahead and take this. It has a 36 grit sanding pad, and I'm gonna sand it just around this edge so it'll fit in better for it. So now I'm going to just go ahead and cut it. We'll have one done, and I'll have to do the next one. So now this one's cut. Let me do the next one. Yeah, I forgot to sand it. All right. So we got them both cut. And what I have to do is put them in my nifty jig. And I had to take this piece of 1/2 inch round bar and cut it to size, because we'll put the spring handle on it. They call them spring handles. I call them cool touch or spring handles. And it'll go on like this, and then I'll weld here and here, and I'll have my handle. So with this, I got to make 4 of these, and the jig is the best way I've found that they're all will be really close. So got my mark. We'll go ahead and tighten this down on a C-clamp. The 4.5-inch angle grinder has a, let's see, I think this is a 16th, yep, a 16th inch thick cutting wheel. Some people call them death wheels, but they'll remove this guard, and I don't like removing the guards. I don't like using them if the guards are gone. I've had these things slip off and hit. It's on there for a reason. What I like to do is take it and sand the corner all the way around. So what that does is it gives more room for the weld for you to weld. So as you can see, there's not a whole lot of room. Take this. I'm going to have to hold it in there and weld it in. So what I'm using is a Hobart Handler 175. I've had it for, I bet, 15 years. The circuit board went out. I pulled that out, bought one off of eBay, put it in, and it's still working. They don't make the 175 anymore. They make a 180, I think, and a 190. And this is just MIG welding. They call it mild steel. It's got a 75-25 mix of argon and CO2. And that's pretty much it. So let me weld it up. With this spring handle and the way it's going to be used, I have to weld it in place. I can't let it rotate to pull the trays out, because if you did, it would just flop around and it'd be a nightmare. So I'm going to tack that up. Here's the handle. Let me finish welding. I gotta make 3 more of those, and I'll catch you in a minute. So, I've got my 4 handles made. Here's the tray that the meat will go on. So what I've done is I've centered this up, and this is 3/4 inch pipe. I cut 20 of these this morning. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the plasma cutter, cut around here, fit the handle, tack that up, then measure over to here to over to here. This way, 2 handles will fit in it, or 1 hand. The handle will be interchangeable. Either you can have 1 handle pull it out, or 2 handles. So really, adding this piece onto the front of the tray really helps in this situation, because these are going to barely fit in the 2 long ways. So I'm sure I'll have to do some more rigorous cuts on the top shelves. Alright, the plasma tip was bad. I changed it out. Now I'm going to cut these 2 holes out. Got a little bit overambitious on the plasma cut, but I think I can fill it in. Alright, those are all these two are welded in. So now I'm going to take my handle and move it over here and mark my center line. I'll do the same thing here. So I'm going to grab another one. So I got my mark. I'm going to plasma it and then see what we got. Having to tip it over, I grabbed it out with the magnet. It's hot. We'll weld this up, move on to this one, and this will be done. So I'm going to do the same thing on this side, as I did on that side. I already got my center line. I got my little piece of pipe. These were cut at 1 inch. I want to say it's 3/4 pipe. The OD 7/8. And the ID is right around 9/16. I think they call it 1/2 inch because they go on the inside. Not sure, but leave a comment if you want and let me know. All this is going to get expanded metal, so I'm going to clean it up a little, just maybe not a whole lot. So, well, I've got it here. I got 2 more of these to put in at the back of the rack. What this will do is after expanded metal's laid down, I'll build a bar from here to here, and it provides a removable lock for your trays. I haven't seen it anywhere. I'm not copying anybody with it. It's my own design. But with it being on YouTube now, it's kind of open source. That one's in. All right. This one's done, except for the expanded metal. Let me do the other one, and I'll bring you back for the top shelf. All right. So I went ahead and did the top tray. It's a little bit more tricky because it's this 1-inch 16 gauge, and it got hot. So I'm gonna clean it up with the 36 grit on 4.5 inch, and let's see how it does. I got the piece of expanded metal cut. What I like to do is just tack a few places, and then we can trim out for these holes that are here. So now I'll just work my way around welding it up. Okay, so last night I went ahead and welded up all of the expanded metal on the trays. So now I need to cut out the rack stops and build the rack stops. So let's get going. Alright, on these top racks, you can't get a very good weld behind there. So what I like to do is put in another support. I cut these out yesterday on the CNC machine, but I'm gonna weld right here, and underneath. So the worst thing is somebody could have a couple $100 worth of meat loaded on the smoker, and one of my welds fell. The back I was able to weld in really nice. So I just want to make sure that these front rails are properly supported. On the bottom, it's not that big of a deal. I was able to get underneath and behind it. So here we go. So 2 more to go. All right. So this is a lock system for these racks that I came up with. Half-inch rebar, half-inch round bar on both ends and the pieces of pipe from the rack. I already cut this piece to length. I'm gonna weld it in here and here, then cut it off, and the lock will be done. There's a piece of 1/8" flat stock just as a spacer right here. So now I'm gonna cut these off right here and here, finish welding it, and then I gotta do 3 more. So the main purpose of this lock is to keep the rack from coming all the way out, but being removable, so you can pull the racks out, wash out the smoker, work on it if you need to. Hopefully that's not the case. You might say, hey, they're not perfect. I wouldn't be a redneck, high-tech redneck, if they were. But all I need to do is go in there and stay. I like it loose in case fat or anything gets in there. They're easy to get out. Which this one ain't. All right. Let me sand them up, clean it up a little bit, and make 3 more. Since I used 1.5" channel for the shelves, the shelves to go into, I had to put a spacer bar and weld it in here and back here. So this is a piece I cut out earlier on the CNC machine, and these are set up. This is 7 inches long from here to here. It's set up to go right here. So I'll weld this in, and what this does is it stops the rack from going all the way out with the lock. Also, I've got, these are just strap pieces of 1/8" strap, and it just kind of spaces it. So I'm going to move the tray over, get it set up. So the rack lock's in place. When it pulls out, it won't go anywhere. They bring you in for a closer view. So whenever somebody has this thing loaded with brisket, it'll stop right here. And then it goes fully in. So you can pull the bar out and the whole tray will come out. one's done. 3 more to go. All right, all the rack stops are in, the locks are in. I got each handle on there. So let me go ahead and push it in first. Nice. So the lock will come out and you can pull the tray out. Put it back in. And it's in and locked. That way you can, that's in. You can work with all your meat here without being in the smoker, breathing all the smoke. And you put it back in, take the handle out, and close the lid. Alright, so the next thing I'm going to do is make the handles for smoker. So I have some 1/2 inch round bar back at the Harbor Freight vendor. So now, since I got the one bin in, I'm going to put my spring handle in. I'm going to get my level. There's one handle. Alright, it's getting dark. These handles, I heated them up, bent them. So that part's done. But I'm tired and I'll have to catch you on the next episode.